oversteer, but the car just looks after you. Hi guys, Alex, Peak Performance Reviews. Welcome to another vlog and welcome to another car review. You'll see today I'm going to be out and about on Millbrook hill climb circuit in a BMW i5 E40 eDrive, which is behind me now. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Full electric motor. I'll tell you more specs on the drive. But yeah, if you've got any questions, as always, hit us up in the comment section and I'll be sure to answer. But yeah, without further ado, let's go drive it now. So yes, I'm out in the new BMW G61 eDrive40, or E40 they call it, M Sport Pro Touring. Yeah, the all new pure electric car from BMW, freshly out. This is actually a pre-production model. It's soon to be ready for the masses, pretty much from the day you're probably going to watch this video. So if you are in the market for one, you like the look of it, obviously watch this video and I'll let you know my thoughts on everything about it. Let's go straight into the performance of it. It's 350 brake horsepower and it has a range of, I think it's 530 kilometers, which is basically about circa 320 miles or 330 miles. So it's got a really good range, which means it will see you to a good 280 mile range without too much of a problem. If you drive it careful, you can potentially get that in the right conditions. First and foremost, and obviously the most important fundamentals that I am going to provide you with, is the driving dynamics, because that is what mainly my channel is all about. Now yes, I'm all for efficiency and I do drive quite a few different EVs, especially now, but most importantly I want to know and I want to let you know how this car drives. And on first impressions, it really is a beautifully comfortable car, and obviously it's a big car, and it probably has a curb weight of probably 2.5 tons. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. I'll put it on the screen for you right now. But it does, even though it sounds like, you know, for a big car 350 horsepower isn't a lot, it's certainly plenty. It's awesome. But then, you know, it reminds me of Porsche in the sense of when you drive a BMW, in my opinion, you never drive a bad BMW, especially modern gen ones. They just have great chassis, and this is absolutely no exception to the rule, because look at this mid-corner, big tourer 350 horsepower, which is good for a 0-60 of 6.1 seconds, which is superb for a car like this. This starts life at, I think, circa £73,000, but this one here is, I think, a smidge over 80,000. I think close to 83,000. I'll correct myself again on the screen if I'm wrong. But like I say, fundamentally, the most important things I want to cover is how it feels dynamically. Suspension is beautiful. Control and roll is kept to a minimum. There's a little tiny bit of roll, but obviously it's a big car and it's meant for relative comfort. It's not meant to be a ultra dynamic sports car, like almost race car for the road. This is an EV that will get you really good range, that will get you somewhere in comfort and nice and safely at that. And I have to say, the suspension is really quite nice. It's soft enough to feel very comfortable at all times, but it's also dynamically nice and sure-footed and full of control. It feels like when you're pushing on a limit, it feels like the car is very capable, and it looks after you very well. Let's give this a little 0 to 60, well, not a 0 to 60 test, so let's give it a little launch. Ready? 1, 2, 3, let's go. Oh yeah, it's got some good torque, you can feel it. Yeah, really good. That feels great. Like I say, 0 to 60 2 is 6.1 seconds. BMW do tend to lie to the better extent. Like I say, it says 6.1, but I wouldn't be surprised if this does, you know, perhaps like a late 5 or mid 5, even low 5, knowing BMW. But it certainly feels more quicker than the 6.1 seconds 0 to 62 would suggest. But let's talk about the interior. Again, for a circa £75,000 to £80,000 car, this has, and as all new BMWs have had. The interior is beautiful. The bucket seats are so comfortable. It's full of massive spec. Again, I'll put links in the bio to all the specs of this one. It's absolutely laden to high heaven as to what you get in this, and it's got so much comfort, loads of lovely cubby holes, wireless charging for your mobiles, and a beautiful large central screen, which is kind of almost split for two sections for your sat nav and also your main infotainment readouts. But again, suspension is really good. I'm purposefully going over some ruts that Millbrook Proving Ground has to test out suspension. You can hear it, it's not that audible. Brakes, let's have a little look. It does that kind of brake regen, auto braking if you want. You can turn it off, but braking underfoot is nicely in the middle, if that makes sense. A little bit of travel before it starts working, and then you can be really nicely modular. If obviously there weren't no sound, I mean there's no sound, so you can obviously tell that it's an EV, and if it weren't for that, you almost wouldn't get that kind of feel of it being an EV, if that makes sense. I think especially from the suspension and the braking system, it feels more like a BMW petrol car in that sense. It's not too soft and overly assisted, but it's fantastic on a push, I tell you. Rear keeps in check, front end is massively dialed in. Steering response, despite it being relatively light but not too light, is sharp. So you get, if you see, it turns in the moment you turn in. Let's see this mid. Traction control line up a little bit, but I tell you what, absolutely awesome chassis on this thing. Absolutely wonderful chassis, and with a range of 340 miles, let's say you can't go too far wrong with this battery size and battery combination from BMW. And to live with this would be an absolute pleasure. Like I say, it's a Touring, so it's got loads of space. The boot is huge, so if you need to go places, take things, golf clubs, you're out and about and you want to take, a family out, let's have a look and see how the suspension goes over here. Very good. Feels like it goes light, but it checks in. So the frequency of the suspension, the way it pulls the chassis back in is nice. Again, it's not akin to a sports car that feels like a race car, but it is very accomplished and very good. Other than that, obviously you have got paddles on, or a paddle on the steering wheel, which basically you can use for an added little boost. It gives you a bit of extra power for overtaking prowess when needed, and I'll show you that in action in a moment. I'm going to do another launch. Low down launch. Ready. Oh, there's boost mode. Oh yeah. So I put it on boost mode that time, way more power. It feels like it's got a lot more torque, a lot more power. When you press the boost mode, it engages it almost a bit like a launch control, but like an active launch control over a certain amount of time. It's like a timed boost. But yeah, beautiful place to be, very comfortable. The chassis, considering the length, is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So massively impressed by this car. I mean, I nearly always am with BMWs anyway. They, like I say, they always remind me of Porsche. They just don't seem to produce a bad chassised car, and for that reason I find myself going out in a lot of them and just liking so many of them. Like I say, dynamically they're just so much fun. They're the kind of car that you just want to reach to get the keys and drive again and again. And to be fair, these EVs, or certainly these long range or longer range EVs that are nearer 300-mile range, which this one definitely would do in the right conditions, but it'd easily do 250, 260, 270. Efficiency is really good. I've been told that it's very good on range, from condition to condition, from bad to good, so to speak. But yeah, like I said, the brakes are really, really good, very confidence inspiring, and the car in general, considering it's an EV with a bit of weight, and I say that in no disrespect, they just carry a bit more weight for the batteries. This car is phenomenally capable. And look, just look at the grip. You think of the overhang of that chassis and the rear, but you can just, it's a brilliant bit of kit, and it's really is thoroughly enjoyable to drive fast. And that for me is a big test with one of these Tourers. Yes, it's meant to be a Tourer that can take you miles and miles and miles, and carry lots of luggage, etc. But look, you want it still to be fun, you still want it to be decently dynamic, so you can have a bit of fun with it. At the end of the day, you're spending like circa £80,000. You need it and want it to be decent. At least I know I would. Look at this. Trying to push it into some oversteer, but the car just looks after you. Yes, it trims off a little bit of speed here and there using your sensors, and the traction comes on a little bit, but it's not too intrusive. It gives you a little bit of play, and overall, as a general overall package, what an amazing bit of kit this car really is. Fantastic product, fantastic EV, and if you've got this kind of money and you're looking at something like that and you want an EV that actually has a really good chassis for this kind of money, I don't think you'll find better. So with that, yeah, for me, massive thumbs up, and yeah, well done BMW again. You've smashed it again. It's a phenomenal car and I adore it. Really, really good. And I think with that, I'm going to end there, guys. If you have any questions, as always, like I say, hit us up in the comment section, ask us anything in case there's something we may have forgot. Obviously, we go on these drives for short periods of time sometimes, but we get to drive them, so we know every bit of information you can think of, things that we don't necessarily cover on camera. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the review. As always, like, share, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you again on the next one. Bye for now.